Hello, welcome to our first webinar of 2019. We thought we'd start with a simple overview. We have a few new prospective new clients joining us, so we thought we'd give an overview for those and a reminder of some of the new features that were introduced in recent previous versions. As we progress through the year, it's our intention to run these monthly webinars on more product or module specific presentations. And as ever, we welcome any input. If there's anything specific you'd like us to cover, additional modules and so on, then we're happy to do that. There is a resource of previous webinars. So there's projects, customer service and so on are stored and can be viewed at any time from our webpage. If you have a look on the webinars and past webinars tab, you can get through to all of those. As ever, usual housekeeping applies. As you'll see from your GoToMeeting tab, there are brochures and documents that can be downloaded. At the end, there'll be the opportunity to ask any questions. Simply use the toolbar to raise a hand, and we can answer the question for you. Also, please do give us some feedback, fill out the survey so that we know what you would like from future presentations and how we can improve it. And as I mentioned, the previous webinars can be accessed through the main Meditech webpage or directly at webinar.meditechuk.com. Okay, firstly, for the benefit of our new clients and the prospective clients that I know are looking in today, just a reminder of a little bit about the background of Meditech, who we are and where we're located. Today, we broadcast in from the Northern office in Manchester. We also have offices in the Midlands and our main office in Southampton. We currently have 30 staff distributed across those offices, and we try to spread the project managers to ensure that we've got technical knowledge in each of those zones. We are part of the Meditech Group. Meditech Group are the only partner to have attained the gold partner status, and across the group we have 7 offices with 300 staff supporting priority users across all different industries. In terms of priority itself, in terms of metrics, there are 40 countries with customers using priority around the globe. It's a mature product. It's been around for around 30 years now, and currently there are in excess of 8,700 organizations using all aspects of the software, full ERP, CRM, HR, WMS, and so on. Recently, Priority passed the 1900 cloud-based user mark, and that takes us way over 300,000 Priority users worldwide. That translates into something like 18 million transactions carried out every day within Priority. Back in 2017, in December 2017, Priority made it into the front runners area of the Gartner-based software advice survey. So here on the left, we're looking at a graph of usability versus user recommended, and then we're going to focus on what's commonly known as the golden quadrant for ERP. Which plots, once again, usability against recommended. And with a bit of graphical help, you'll see there that Priority has risen to the top right of the top right and continues today. So what does it offer? Well, Priority offers a great breadth of functionality from initial CRM through sales, purchase order processing, full financials, production, inventory control, a full suite of modules to support the business. As standard, it's multi-site and it's multi-company, and it's implemented in businesses from 5 users up to thousands of users. It's very flexible. It can be deployed in an on-premise or a hosted implementation, and it can be provided as either a purchased license or subscription-based. It is a platform-based system, so it's ERPL, which means that new additional applications can be built on top of the basic core functionality to offer any specific functions that your business requires. This also is supported by a full REST-based API and the application generator, which allows you to identify any fields within forms in the system and then very easily publish them out to an application for mobile devices. Okay, what does that give us? Biggest benefit being flexibility. It allows you to start with a solution that's correct for your business needs now, which can easily grow, expand and be developed as your business changes. And we have a team that can help develop and deploy those strategies throughout Priority. The system allows you to define business rules and business process management rules that we'll have a look at today. And this helps you define the guidelines to ensure your staff, your users follow the correct path as they use the system. The ultimate goal being to make your business as efficient and as profitable as possible. In terms of industries, it's a very widely used system across a number of different verticals. It comes, if you like, with three broad flavors, one being manufacturing, one being distribution, and one being construction, but these are quite broad. You have the core of the system, which all flavors include, so financials, CRM, purchasing, inventory is in all of the modules. Whereas the flavored packages manufacturing obviously includes MRP and production control. There are then additional modules that can be used to enhance the basic package to make it more suitable for a specific purpose. For example, if you're a manufacturer, you may have a customer service team that goes out to implement and support your product. It may be that you, whether you're manufacturing or whether you're construction-based, manage projects where you have to split the project down into phases or milestones and install and monitor the costs of that project as you work through it. With distribution, maybe the focus is more on warehouse management. It may be on mobile Priority if you have sales reps out in the field. But all of these can be mixed in any combination to give a unique mix of product to suit a particular business. Finally, a little bit about the interface. The system can be used on a variety of devices, on a laptop, Windows or Mac-based. Remote users would tend to use tablets, and this is via a native app on Android or iOS devices. And of course, applications generated using the app generator can be accessed via the Priority Master app on a mobile device. So really it's about flexibility, access to software from anywhere on pretty much any device. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move from PowerPoint into the software itself. And as I said, please understand this presentation is for both new prospective clients and existing. So some of it you will have seen before. Other items could be a refresher, a memory refresher. This is my home screen. This is my personal home screen, but this could be defined for individual or groups of users. And what this presents me with is a list of a map of tiles which lead to functions and features that I've defined. Now, even without any of this, if I have a client on the phone and I want an easy way to get into the system, we have this search bar which is enterprise level search. So if I start to type in a customer name, then I'll be prompted by any documents that meet that criteria. So Dormy, so I could select one of those, or if I hit the magnifying glass, then it takes me through to more of a Google style search. So here I could look through that list. On the left, it gives me some information that, okay, there are some invoices, some sales orders and contacts. So if, for example, I clicked on sales invoice, it reduces that list accordingly. If I click on contact, then it takes me straight to the contact at that company. So it's a very easy mechanism for getting into the system and looking for information. If we go a little deeper than that, then first of all, you'll see the breadth of functionality across the top of the screen. We have full financials, CRM, sales, purchasing, and so on. And then into this area of my own preference of which tiles are viewed. It's very, very easy to add. If I click the little plus icon, then I could look for any particular tile. If I type in a subject I'm looking for, it takes me straight in. There must be quite a few of those. Okay, so I could select any of these functions, and to add them to the home screen, just click Add. Okay, and that will now be down on the bottom of the home screen. So it's very simple to define. And as I said, this can be per user or per group of users. Also, we have these little graphics which are really useful. There are a number of portlets. So this could be income, purchase orders, P&L. Just a quick graphical view when you go into your user to give you a visual check on where you are in that particular portion of the business. One very recent new feature is here in packages. And obviously I could go through with a blank screen and add tiles for each of the functions that I do on a daily basis. But it could be that many users have a requirement to look at particular types of function. So if you look at packages, for example, it could be that I'm very interested in marketing and sales, so I want to leave all of those available, but perhaps finance, no, that's for the finance team. If I select hide category, then the system will automatically hide anything to do with that particular package. So any icons, any forms, any direct activations, any screens to do with that will be hidden automatically. We can, of course, go back in then and turn on individual fields if required, but it gives us a mechanism to very quickly define a role-specific user interface, really to tailor this to the user and make it as easy to use as possible. On that note, where we see a tile with a number in the corner, these are push notifications in the same style as you would have in social media. So if I was to click on the sales opportunities tab, it would open up a blank form, whereas if I click in the number, then we'll see a to-do list of documents assigned to me or my user. So for example, if I click on the magnifying glass, it then takes me straight through into that particular opportunity, and I can work on it from there and move on. Okay, let's go and have a look at the customer form. So here I want to retrieve a record. Let's retrieve a record for that company we looked at earlier, Dormy, as I type the name. It brings back that information, and that then populates the top level of the form. Within Priority, all forms look very similar. They have this top level here with the main information. Here I've got the address, company details, categories, and so on. And then in the lower area of the form, it's all of the items that relate to the top level. So for example, it could be customer contacts. It could be any tasks that we have for this customer. Let's bring back this year's. So it could be any sales calls that we need to make to this customer, record of any email correspondence with them. And all of this, of course, is fully integrated with Outlook. So that will appear in our calendar. Also here, we've got access to any active quotations from this customer, or indeed sales opportunities or sales orders. So it gives us an easy way of having access to this specific client information. And you find this right the way through the system. Say, for example, typically I want to have a look at some of the financial information for this customer. Then in the direct activations box here, the content of this box changes based on the location that I am within the form. So these commands apply when I'm in the top level of the form. And in this case, I want to navigate to the financial parameters for this customer. Here, if we click on credit, we can see the current credit limit. liability limit. And if we move into the customer credit section, then this will be populated with the current information. So there you see there's rather a few unpaid bills. We can click into the unpaid bills tab, and right the way down to a particular invoice, we can go and have a look at that invoice, see what's on it. Okay, right the way through down to a specific part we can look in that particular document. That was a journal entry. If I go to the document itself, then there we can see the different parts, and even zoom into a part itself if need be. So it's very easy to navigate, very simple to move between the items. And we can go back up to the top level if we wish. That was a single customer record. If I wanted to retrieve multiple records, we could view it as a list view. In this list, I can sort by any of the areas, maybe by postcode or by rep or by status. But equally, if I wanted to squirt this out into Excel for some other use, then we could do it very simply. There it is. Okay. So we have that information. Of course, in Priority, the Excel integration is bidirectional, so I could export some information, a parts list, for example, or some parts and prices, update them, and then re-import them straight back into Priority. While we're here, if we go back to this record, if we selected a group of records, maybe for a mail shot or some document creation, then we're able to use that as the basis, as a Word export, and you define your specific templates. I'll explain more about this in a moment. Okay, and then there's the document. If I open on the right monitor, which has exported the customer records into a series of documents that could be automatically emailed, however you want to do that. Okay, now this mechanism changed recently. If we look at, let's say, an order confirmation, I'm now prompted to either run the standard report, or we can click Design, which gives us the ability to select whether we are interested in a system document. So this is the documents published as part of the standard implementation, or as a template document. Now this gives us the ability to design our own documentation very simply. Let's select a template document, have a look at the order confirmation. So I'm going to select Edit. Okay, let's make that full screen. And now we can see the whole of the form. Just zoom in slightly, and you can see that these fields relate to our XML link. So if we turn on Developer and put on the XML mapping pane, you can see very simply that these are fields that relate to this document. So we simply have to select it and say Insert the information as required, usually as rich text to take the formatting through. There is a new feature which came in at version 18.3, if I'm not mistaken, which allows us to populate boxes with containers. Now, a container varies from a text box because it has a query base to it. So, for example, you could say if the lines of the order confirmation contain hazardous materials or materials with hazardous notes, put a hazard note into this box. So it's a conditional text box which is defined in a very similar way to business rules. So we'll look at that as we move on. Let's come out of this and take a look at how we can define and use business rules. So let's do this on a price quotation. We've got one set up here. Part quote. So in here, if, for example, I'm on this line of the quote and I decide that I want to apply a large discount, 75%, not like my discounts, then straight away we've tripped up this business rule, which is telling me that the profit margin for this line is too low. Please revise. It's only a warning, so it would let me continue if I wish. But we're going to go and have a look at how this is defined. So if I design, let's have a look at the business rule. And here, if we zoom in, we can see that we are, let's say if the value of the profit percentage, and this can be on any field in this particular form, is smaller than 50%, then the action is to display a warning. It could be an error message, that's a dead stop, it would not let me continue. It could be a warning message, it could be an email, not necessarily to the person that broke the rule, or it could be a text message or open a system task for that recipient. And in this case, it's a message which says the margin's too low, please revise. That's a business rule. Now, in addition to business rules, we also have a business process management rule. Now, this allows us to control the flow of transactions. So for me to process this quotation into a customer order, I would need to change the status to ready, which you can see is quite easily available here. If I was to up the quantity, though, to 1,000, then that option of ready is no longer available to me. And that's because there is a BPM rule that's preventing that. So let's open that up and have a look. Straight away, you'll see that to go from a draft status to a ready status, we have to satisfy this business rule. And this business rule defines that in order to change the status, this is permitted if the value of the price after discount is smaller than 1,000. So effectively, this means that anybody could produce a quotation with a value less than £1,000, but the moment it goes over that, it has to go through an approval mechanism. There's also another rule on here, which is time-based. So here, in this particular case, we have a rule which says if the document remains in this ready status for more than 3 days, i.e. it's not been moved, ordered or cancelled, then send an email to the user, Andy, with a prompt that this quotation has been with a customer more than 3 days, please follow up. It's quite an easy set and forget rule. So finally, I'm aware that I'm running out of time. A quick look at dashboards and BI. For any of the modules within the system, there are executive reports. So for CRM, example, we have a sales manager dashboard, sales rep dashboard. For production, we have production manager dashboard, and so on. We're going to take a look at the executive dashboard, and here you can define which sets of information you want to see. So I bring this over. Then this can pull historic data from any area. You simply define, drag and drop which information you want to show, and you can manipulate and change the style of graphs and so on. Really use it to define your desktop to give you the information which is most pertinent. If you want to drill a little deeper, we could open these up individually, or we could go directly into BI. And once again, BI exists for all of the major modules. I'm going to select order analysis, where we'll bring up a top level breakdown. So here now, we might want to take those quarters of totals, break them down by customer, for example. We can start to see a breakdown of those by customer, and then you may wish to break them down further by part, for example. So we can now see by customer, by part, and if we click on any of those, it will give us a breakdown of how that information is created. This is linked back into Priority, so if we were to click on that, it would take us back in and open the relevant order. Okay, that was a bit of a whirlwind tour. Usually we try and get through it in 25 minutes and allow questions at the end, 5 minutes for questions. I'm a little premature. I'm at 24 minutes and 15 seconds, so I've not done bad today. If anybody has any questions, could you please make it known, and we will try to address it for you. I'm helped here by a panel of genius experts, both of them. So please ask any questions. And I know, folks, this is quite a high level and general overview, but it's intentional. We know we've got a number of new interests in Priority, so we wanted to try and address those. I've had a question which has just come up, which is about one of the new features within Priority, which is Priority Talk. And this is a really useful feature. I'll show you. This is really useful when you want to ask one of your colleagues a question about a document, a form. So let's go and do that on the price quotation. I want to ask my colleagues about this. So the first thing I'm going to do is mark it as a tracked document and then add who I wish to share this with to the list. I'm going to share it with Andy and Christine. So now I'm able to go in and say, okay, where is it? It's down at the bottom, price quotation. And add a comment, please, could you verify pricing? So this now will appear in the inbox of any other users, well, effectively Andy and Christine. And if they reply, it would be published to all recipients and would appear in this box. Any conversation or any dialogue between users is automatically stored in this bottom level. When I get a reply, it will go into the quoted item remarks. So you have a record of who said what and when. Hope that answers that particular question. Any other questions from anybody? It's looking quiet. Perhaps you're all contemplating getting back in the snow and ice. Give you another 30 seconds. Okay, it doesn't look like that's the case. So I thank you all for attending. Thank you for your time. We will publish, we're just working on the list of the ongoing webinars for the next half of the year. If you have a specific subject you'd like us to cover, please let us know. It doesn't have to be a specific product. It could be tax-based. It could be on financials. It could be on CRM. Whatever you wish, please let us know, and we'll try to help you with that. Okay, thank you, everyone. Hope to see you again at the next webinar. Thank you very much.